Hi, I'm Buddy Blanchard of Romeo Delight, and you're listening to the True Philadelphia podcast with Matt O'Donnell.
Hey everyone, I'm Matt O'Donnell. It is the day after the death of Eddie Van Halen, the great guitar god. And to talk about his legacy and to mourn his loss, I called up Buddy Blanchard, my friend who leads Romeo Delight, the ultimate Van Halen tribute band. Based in Northeast Philadelphia, there's no one better than them. I had the pleasure and the honor of playing some songs with them 3 times now. That was Atomic Punk at Musikfest years back. Anyway, Buddy and I talked about our reactions when we first learned the news of Eddie Van Halen's passing, talked about our memories of Eddie's guitar playing, his life, some of our favorite Van Halen songs, Van Halen albums, solos, talked about Buddy actually meeting Eddie Van Halen in person, and we also talked about the progression of great guitarists and where we're going after the loss of Eddie. It's all coming up in this special edition of the True Philadelphia podcast with Buddy Blanchard. Buddy Blanchard from the quintessential Van Halen tribute band, Romeo Delight, based in Northeast Philadelphia. Thanks for joining us here on the podcast, Buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me, Matt. You know, it's a sad, sad day, the morning after Eddie Van Halen has passed away. And, you just don't think of somebody like him leaving us, even though we all have known for over a decade he's been fighting to stay with us. But when you have somebody who's a guitar god, you think, they're here forever. And in a way they are, because his music will last with us forever. So we're lucky to have that.
My brother, who is also a big Van Halen fan, texted me in the afternoon. That's how I found out. Tell me how you found out. Right. What did you immediately do? What did you immediately think?
Well, there were no words. My wife came in the room and she held up, a TMZ ad, and she said that she couldn't even put the words together. And she had showed it to me, and I'm like, no, of course, like, you deny it in your heart and soul, because especially for me, paying tribute to Van Halen all the time, he couldn't believe it. So, but he cross-check everything online, and then when everybody's saying it, it kind of confirms the reality of it. And it's just horrible. That's how I found out.
So I started venturing out on YouTube and started doing the greatest hits. I watched the Jump video. Right. I watched Pound Cake. I then watched, and I hadn't seen it in a while. Do you remember the Eruption solo, which was so much more than that during the Live Without a Net performance with Sammy Hagar?
Excellent. Yeah, I love it. I love the way he connected with everybody in that performance too. Of course he does the amazing, guitar solo that changed all history and time after everybody heard it, and the way every guitar player played and the way everybody listened to music for a whole decade. But his ability to connect with people and smile and people, he conveyed that sweet kind of feeling that was approachable, and that performance was great on that Live Without a Net. I love it.
The thing that struck a lot of people, and I was young when, like, say, 1984 came out, but right. There, I think, was this perception that music had to be macho and mean in a way and aggressive. And then Van Halen comes out and David Lee Roth is smiling and jumping all over the place. Every time the camera's on Eddie Van Halen, it couldn't look any happier. And I think they really made music fun again, didn't they?
Absolutely. Going from that hard, edgier stuff and then bringing Van Halen in, like you said, smiling, and it made them different than all the other bands. It was like a new chapter in rock music. And not only did they bring that with their sound and with Eddie's ingenious, innovative playing, but also with their physical. They're smiling, they're happy, they're glad to be here with you, and they're celebrating. They're celebrating on stage the whole time. And that's a total bond, a connection with that, at least that you and I share right now with them. So it's amazing, really.
So there are a lot of Van Halen tribute bands. Yeah. You guys are the best, though.
Thank you so much, Matt.
I mean that.
Thank you. Woo!
And David Lee Roth said as much. You've met him before. Have you ever been able to meet Eddie?
I did. I met Eddie. I met Eddie. I was going to say in 1980 at the Hilton, the old Hilton, where from the old Philadelphia Spectrum used to be down the street. And I was hanging out there trying to party with the guys and meet them and become one with them, build a relationship with them. And it was one night after one of their shows at the Philadelphia Spectrum. We went back to the hotel, and we went in the hotel, and Eddie Van Halen was with Valerie Bertinelli then. So, and they were really, close and holding hands, and they were really, really bonded tight at that time. So, but I was in the room with them all in the lobby, and of course I was more drawn to David Lee Roth, and I actually, I don't know why, but I actually talked to him, and but Eddie, I was in the room with Eddie and Valerie, so that was, looking back on it, never knew all these years later that it would be a great, memorable experience, that I would never forget.
So you made kind of like a side career out of this. You guys perform all the time, every year, and play, not only tracks from the David Lee Roth era, but also Sammy Hagar era.
Yeah, we do a couple Sammy.
Yeah. Why do you think Van Halen, and it took a while for them. I mean, they didn't get immediate success.
Sure.
It was probably 1984 that really, vaulted them into stardom.
Absolutely.
Put your finger on why that was. What made Van Halen so popular?
I think the reason that, well, of course, it's like, it's like Ben Franklin, when he invents things and he, changed the way things have been from the way they had been before. And I think Van Halen had a lot to do with that as far as like the music, like we're saying. And that is what really made them stand out and really made them get into the hearts and minds of our culture. And that's the thing that made them really stand out and really made them different was, like I said, once you heard Eddie Van Halen play Eruption, and everybody's trying to figure out what is that sound. He created sound that has never been, put out in all the media that had never been done before. So when you create something original like that, it is long lasting. And when it reaches the masses in such a huge way as it did on the radio, and there's no internet, there's only those albums. And that was the thing that I think really gave them their implant on our mind,
Yeah. As a wannabe musician myself.
Oh, you're a great drummer, Matt. You're a great drummer.
I'm not a guitar player, but if you want to look at the pillars of the evolution of the rock and roll guitar, I would probably start with Chuck Berry, and then I would move to Jimi Hendrix. Obviously, Chuck Berry laid down the sound and the look too.
Yeah,
Jimi Hendrix did things that people were like, "What is happening?" And then Eddie Van Halen takes that idea and just takes it to a whole nother level. And they're like, how is he doing that?
Exactly.
What is it for you?
That's pretty much, that's a good description, going back to the guys even before that, like Elvis, game changer. And then, and like you said, Jimi Hendrix, he's also one of those top guys like Eddie. And, but Eddie Van Halen for us was, that's our imprint right there. That's our guy right there. So, it's just so sad to think that we're not going to have him anymore. Thank God he recorded so much memorable music that we're going to have that forever. So for me, it's just, the love of the music, it was something I could bond together with my friends. That's why I started Romeo Delight, the Ultimate Van Halen tribute band, was because of my friendship and our bond with the music and our friends. It kind of put us together like glue. It got us out on a Saturday night. It gave us memories. We were able to laugh and have parties and have that as the soundtrack. So for me, that's really what's going to be long lasting, All
right. I'm going to put you on the spot, buddy.
Okay.
I want you to give me 3 things.
All right.
Favorite Van Halen album, favorite Van Halen song, and then to top it all off, favorite Eddie Van Halen guitar solo.
Oh,
If you need to think, I mean, please think.
No,
I have
no,
all the
okay.
time in the world.
I love women and children. I love women and children. That has got to be one of my favorite also. And favorite song?
Yeah.
Wow. Favorite song. You know, if I have to pick one, I think it's really got to be Unchained. I mean, I think that is really, you know, it's got a little bit of the darkness. It's got a little bit of the pop. It's got, it's a great opening song. We use it all the time. And as far as the guitar solo, I got to go with the Game Changer, you know, that less than 2-minute guitar solo that changed everything, you know. I love all rock music, but my keyboard player, Scott, he always says, you know, when when Eddie Van Halen released that guitar solo, it ended Ted Nugent's career.
No
I
more
don't believe that. I think Ted's great, but you know.
Yeah. Eruption. When I first heard it, I thought it was an alien that came down and grabbed someone's guitar and just started playing it. All right, so I'll give my picks for you, and I agree. Women.
Yeah, tell me
first. And partly because it was the first cassette, and I was buying cassettes back in the day. That was the first cassette that I purchased from Van Halen. I think it's their heaviest album.
Yeah,
and it's very super hard rock.
It is.
Even and of course, Romeo Delight is on that album too.
There you go.
Yeah. My favorite song, I'll go with Atomic Punk, and I've had the pleasure and the honor to play that song twice with you guys. Actually, 3 times. One time in a practice session.
That's right.
Song, and it's just when they had like a punk edge, I think.
Yes.
On that first album, and my favorite guitar solo, Eruption, obviously in the top, but the solo in Dreams was brilliant because it starts with sort of like what's going to happen here, and then he does some crazy stuff, and then there's such melodicism with the way it gels into the song, and it's just I have to stop and listen to the song if it's on. I can't do something else because it's so captivating to me.
It has it's very tasteful and very has a lot of feel to that. That's a great.
I'm sorry for picking a Sammy Hagar.
Oh no, I love Sammy. my brother-in-law in the Monkees, Mickey Dolenz, he's buddies with Sammy Hagar, and he hangs out with them every once in a while when they have special events together. And no, I love Sammy. I think he's a great guy too. Yeah.
I was talking to someone about this today. Eddie and Alex were kind of hard to deal with, and there were rumors and legends about all the stuff they had to do and did, and how they went from David Lee Roth to Sammy Hagar to Gary Sharon to Sammy Hagar to David Lee Roth to. How does that whole fit into the Van Halen legacy? Because I think it kind of prevented us from getting more albums out of the band.
Yeah, I think it did too, in a way. I kind of wish that, Dave could have hung in there a little bit more after the mid '80s. I mean, they missed out, like right out of the gate, they missed Live Aid. That was the first thing they missed. And going forward from that, I mean, I know Sammy's great and those songs are great, but it's not that original Van Halen that compels everybody, and made everybody come to the shows. I think that, it's a shame that Dave couldn't have hung in there a little bit longer just to make a couple more albums, but I think the Sammy stuff's great too, but not the same.
Yeah. So you Romeo Delight continues, and you plan on playing special tribute to Eddie. How are you going to do that, do you think? Have you thought about it?
Oh my gosh. We've been talking about it. My guitar player, and Kevin Somerville, he's going to come in there with this, this new passion for it, and it's going to have a deeper meaning, our performances. I mean, without getting too mushy, it's just going to mean a little bit more to us, I think, and to everybody that comes and sees us. I've been getting huge response from people that are going to attend our show. We're playing a live show up here in Northeast Philadelphia at Sweeney's on Saturday, October 24th. And, it's an outside show, as all of them are right now, but huge response. I just think that everybody is going to be, a little bit more apt to come and see us play now because of, poor Eddie, It's a shame. I miss him. I miss him already. But 65, right?
Yeah, and you know the other thing, maybe we can kind of end on this.
Okay.
It's rare that you find someone who's a virtuoso at one thing, but then you have Eddie Van Halen, who was a guitar virtuoso, keyboard virtuoso, delved in some drums early on. I know Alex and he switched guitar and drums, and also wrote such captivating songs. And then he was able to insert himself into other bands. The most popular song he ever appeared on was "Beat It" by Michael Jackson, and he does his Eddie Van Halen thing, and it fits.
Yeah, it's great.
How does one human being? How is one person able to do all these things?
Wow. You know, I think, you know, his father, Jan Van Halen, I think when he had made him go and take piano lessons when he was 4 and 5 years old, I just think it opened up something inside of him that, you know, that someone who hadn't done that wouldn't have all that ability to create. I think that, you know, with the pop sensibility, like you said, every one of those bullet points that were a staple in him is really quite amazing. And to have all of those ingredients together, I think really stems from, you know, having that music adaptability, you know, at such a young age. And he won awards when he was a little kid. He was just always a great musician and songwriter and keyboard player. Like, you know, that was his big thing he started out with. And then, of course, switched over to the guitar and changed everything. So amazing, really, you know.
Helps to have good DNA.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that's right. I actually met his mom one time. I met Mrs. Van Halen. Yeah. And I didn't even know who she was when I met her. And it was like, looking back on it, it's like when I met Eddie Van Halen and David Lee Roth. It's like a huge honor knowing that I had met Mrs. Van Halen. You know, it's like, wow, it's amazing what she created. You know, and that was, you know, so I'm really grateful for that. But poor Eddie, you know, all the time we had with him, and thank goodness that we had him for as long as we did to get as much as, you know, for him to give us as much as he gave. You know, we love him.
We kind of agreed on going from Barry to Hendrix to Van Halen.
Mm-hmm.
Who's after that?
You know, I just don't even know. Wow, that one I have to think about.
Because it's been so long since the height of Van Halen.
Right.
I think it says so much about Eddie Van Halen that it's hard to figure that out.
Oh, right. Exactly. Because everybody's kind of like this kind of level, as, you know, Eddie's here. And yeah, so that would be a tricky one. I'm sure, you know, there's got to be somebody.
Buddy, I'm thinking of this. So so you got Steve Vai and Yngwie Malmsteen. They are obviously, you know, following the Eddie Van Halen tradition and maybe doing even more calisthenics than he, you know, was able to do. So maybe you go to Slash, who didn't do that, and he brought more of a melodicism and more smooth sounds, and he was more like a painter rather than doing jumping jacks over and over and over again. What do you think of that?
True. I think I'll go with that. I like that. I think Slash he's a great guitar player, and he does lay it in there like he's painting. Yeah, he's great too. There's a lot of great guys out there. Thank goodness they keep the guitar, you know, music alive. You know, it's just so different from a lot of stuff that's out today. I mean, you know, to have that actual musician with his hands on the instrument, you know, where it's all these little tweaks and quirky kind of things that aren't in regular standard, you know, keyboard music and digital, where it's all perfect. I think that we're lucky to have guys that can still play like that. And, you know, it's to be appreciated, really. You know.
Hey, buddy. Again, I hate to put you on the spot. Can you? I need a little David Lee Roth right now.
Oh my God! I wish I had my guitar, man. I would turn it up to 10, and I would give you some Ice Cream Man.
Bozy bop, diddy bop.
You gotta love his sense of humor, right?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen. It was great to reminisce with someone who loves him so much, more than me. I mean, you know.
Oh, I do.
Long live Romeo Delight.
Yes. Thank you, Matt. Yes, we are going to thrive, and we're going to just keep his music alive. We're going to, with every performance, and when everything opens up after this crazy time that we're going to have, when we get in there, we're going to just keep it rolling in all the theaters and shows in New York, and we're going to keep it going for him and his memory because we love him. And Romeo Delight. And I want to say just thanks to my guys. I got Joby on guitar, and I have Kevin plays guitar too, and I have Scott. And my new drummer, Michael Natalini from the Tramps, he's amazing. I love those guys. And our heart is all reaching out to, all the Van Halen members, and of course to Eddie Van Halen's family and Valerie and Wolfgang and Eddie's wife, Janie. It's just, it's a sad day, but thank God we have this music.
Yeah. I was at a funeral and someone quoted, I don't know if it was Dr. Seuss or someone else, "Don't be sad it's over, be glad it happened."
There you go. Right. That's the positive side. That's the light.
We have all of his music, and they can never take that away from us.
Yeah, we're lucky to have it, honestly. So,
buddy.
Yeah.
No, man. Great talking. Great catching up.
You, Matt.
Yeah. I hope to see Romeo Delight on the road soon.
Yes. I hope to be playing with you again, too, Matt. You rock.
I got sticks.
You do? I know.
The drums.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us on the True Philadelphia podcast, buddy.
All right. Thank you for having me, Matt. Take care.